Hey, welcome to Mike's Diabetes World. Currently at 6.8, and the graph shows I've been within goals set by my doctor. Up here, this tells the calibration. I pretty well have a long set before the next calibration is due. Right here, the number 1 indicates that tomorrow is a state change for the sensor. If I touch it, it says sensor life 19 hours. So tomorrow, that means it will be time for a whole new sensor update. Pretty good. So 6.7, I've gone to 95%. So this only gives 24 hours. If you go onto your CareLink site, if you're with Medtronic, it'll give you your time and range. I'm sure the other sensor companies do the same. My average blood sugar has come up a bit, which is awesome. But 95% time and range. If you just watched the video yesterday, you know my doctor was pleased with that. Today, I want to discuss, am I sick? No insulin. And we'll be right back to start this. Sorry, this morning's interruptions have been coming in and there'll be little breaks in between. But I'll be right back and we'll get going. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Okay. Time and range is super. You got that going. You take a look. You see that your insulin levels are fine. You're kind of watching what you're eating. You're feeling great. You're feeling motivated. You're having the energy back. And you start to think, oh, I don't need insulin. And if your doctor has never said that before to you, or said this before to you, insulin is a lifelong drug. You're going to be taking it every day until it's good solid cure is found. If you don't take insulin, you're in for a whole mess of trouble. It's just like people start to think with high blood pressure pills. They take the pills, they're feeling great. And type 2s in their medication are pretty much the same thing. If you feel great, why should you worry about taking stuff. As a type 1, you need to worry. You need to worry pretty much every single moment what your blood sugar is doing. Now, I don't mean that you get signed on to your sites and every 2 minutes say, oops, it went up, I have to give in. But you should be taking a look at your graphs are on your pump 4 to 6 times a day. I'm just taking a look so that you know what's happening within your body. You need to take control. So, what will happen if you don't take your insulin? Well, your blood sugar is going to start, may hover for a bit, but then it'll start to climb. And it'll be a pretty quick incline. And every time you eat, that will go up. And you may sit around in the teens for a while. But if you do that long enough, your body's not going to have the tool that your cells need for energy. So they're going to look elsewhere. And that is fat, and they break down fat. And I know there's an awful lot who would say, yeah, that's awesome. I could lose weight. That's not the way you want to lose weight. Trust me. You feel like crap. You're definitely not going to have any more energy. And I know people say, oh, you've lost weight. You look great. But if you lose weight through DKA, you're kind of tired, you're kind of haggard, and the weight doesn't stay off. And you're not going to keep putting yourself into DKA because you can lose more weight. That's just not feasible. You need to be able to lose weight under the supervision of your doctor, maybe cutting back on insulin, because insulin likes to help your body store fat. If you go without insulin for too long, you are going to be pretty much a skeleton. And if you don't really believe me, you need to take a look. Look up children with diabetes before insulin. And it is pretty graphic. Your body just does everything to get rid of sugar. You're constantly sick. These kids go down to nothing. And if you're playing around with insulin, you need to stop. Stop taking insulin. Oh, I'm getting a little punchy. Ooh, let's stop taking insulin and I'll just slim down. No. Watch what you're eating. Get out there, exercise. It may be a little bit harder for a type 1, but it can be done. Don't just use insulin. And how many people had to die waiting to get this drug? And here you go just playing around with it. Second, don't play around with your blood sugars. It's pretty well along the same lines, but your higher blood sugars is opening up your body to so much more complications. I know for young adults, or even, I was 13, so I guess I was a young adult when I got it. I thought, oh yeah, I'll never catch complications. I, truthfully, when I got diagnosed, I had support. And then my mother and stepfather worked for external affairs and were sent off to Fiji. Because of my diabetes, I was left in Canada with one of my sisters. She was a young 22-year-old. She didn't really offer support. It was kind of like, well, you take your shots, you do what you want. You go see your doctor whenever you have to. I'm totally was out of it. Like, there was no one really to lean on. Eventually, I went to go live with my father. And my father tried to offer support, but he was so busy, he never really understood T1D. So I was eating whatever I wanted. I was sort of a complete mess. A complete mess as a teenager, and B, a complete mess, my diabetes. So I have been through DKA a number of times. You don't want to have any sort of DKA. What's DKA? It's diabetic ketoacidosis. And it's different for those of you who have been involved in the keto diet. It does the same sort of thing, but because insulin is involved and we have to inject insulin, it's really hard to keep us in ketosis without going into diabetic ketoacidosis. So don't play around with your insulin. Take your insulin every time you need to take a dose. Correct your insulin. Bring it down, but don't be overzealous with it. You want to ensure that you follow your doctor's guidelines. And you may be saying, well, my doctor never gave me deadlines. Well, ask him, where should my blood sugar be? If not your doctor, your endocrinologist. Not your endocrinologist, try your diabetes education nurse. It's important that you are the one who takes control seriously. It's not up to me. It's not up to your mother, your husband, your wife. It's up to you. So don't play around with insulin. Take your doses as required. A little insulin can go a long way. And then getting your blood sugars under control is important. With that, have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.